Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and it's my pleasure to introduce our guest today is Lafourche Parish School Superintendent Jared Morton. Thank you very much for joining us on the set today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. It is already approaching the new school year. Starts in August, where we're at the end of July. So what kind of things y'all have in store for the start? Are y'all getting ready, getting ramped up?
We are. In fact, I was just telling somebody this morning, they said, well, at least this problem that we were dealing with this morning, at least it came up during the summer. I said, the summer's actually my busy time. The analogy that I make is sort of like flying a plane. It's the landing and the taking off that's the busy time of year. The middle is usually the easier part.
I see.
But right now we're busy staffing our schools. Our principals are making those last-minute decisions that have to be made to put teachers in classrooms. All of the facilities are being cleaned, waxed. Restrooms are getting a complete overhaul in a lot of campuses, and we're just getting ready to welcome our kids.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, that because you just have that short time where everybody's out, you can get a lot of work done, but it really isn't as long as you think, or as long as it used to seem when you were a kid.
That is correct. That is correct.
But do things for this year. And then you're still, I guess, going with recovery mode from Hurricane Ida, still rebuilding process. Can you give us, some of the latest of where we are on that?
Yeah, look, we're in a good place following Hurricane Ida. Very proud of the work that we've been able to be fortunate enough to partner with a lot of great contractors, get a lot of the buildings repaired. We are in still good financial shape, thankfully, and frankly, by the grace of God. But we do have two campuses that have just been a real struggle to get back up and running. The FEMA definition of substantially damaged doesn't necessarily marry the local definition of substantially damaged. And when that happens, you're in a pause mode until you can get some consensus from FEMA as to what to do. For us, those two campuses are Golden Meadow Middle School and Bayou Buff Elementary School. Golden Meadow Middle School had substantial wind damage that allowed rain to infiltrate through almost the entire campus, as many of our houses experienced during Hurricane Ida. The parish has deemed it substantially damaged, and so the course forward is that you have to completely rebuild. And when you have to completely rebuild, you have to bring everything up to code, including the elevation, ADA access, windows, roofing materials, the whole nine. FEMA says, no, it's not substantially damaged. You can just build it back. And so we're navigating the road forward, knowing the right thing to do is, in fact, to build a modern school with the modern codes up to the proper elevation. And the exact same scenario is playing out in Bayou Buff Elementary School, where the damage was actually caused by overtopping levees.
Oh, really?
A tremendous amount of floodwaters that came from the St. Charles Parish area, the Lake des Almonds area just poured over into that Kramer community, and Bayou Buff took on like 3 or 4 feet of water.
Sure, you can see what the rotation of that storm, that's where it would come from, because I know down here in Terrebonne you had a lot of, the water flowing north to south.
That's right. That's right, an odd thing.
Sure, certainly is. But again, so for, I guess, is it 50% that they normally look at, 50% damage?
That's right. So FEMA declares it 50% damaged, and they deem it to be such, then you are good to go. Get a bulldozer, hire a demolition crew, rebuild to modern code. But they have not gotten to that place on these two structures, even though the local governments have declared it so. And we have to comply with the locals as well. So we're caught somewhere between that. Yeah, you can rebuild it right now, and no, we need a few more papers. But we're getting there, and we feel optimistic that that's going to come through any day now.
Well, certainly. And is that so are those the only two campuses where you have school students off-site right now?
It is. Everyone else is back, returned to their campus. an odd thing in that Golden Meadow Middle School, because they're displaced, we also have Golden Meadow upper elementary students co-located at another elementary school. But we anticipate that being the long-term plan for those students. The student population of those two schools is such that they were able to absorb one of those campuses and not really be that big of a deal. And the two campuses, I might add, are within a skateboard ride of each other. You're only talking, about a mile apart, these two campuses.
Well, it's certainly seems like, y'all are doing as fast of a job as y'all can. Of course, you can't always help, with the federal government with that process that certainly can slow things out, especially when you have people that don't live here and, maybe not be as pressing as to some of the people that are actually in this area.
That's right absolutely correct.
Correct. And, okay. So as far as, starting the school year, is there anything else that, I guess, that you look for, that you have, I guess there's concerns. So you have new people and new positions. Of course, that's always, a certain thing that you got to monitor as well.
Yeah, we do. We have a number of new principals, a number of new assistant principals, and of course, we're hiring teachers every day. But for the overwhelming majority of these folks, they're rank and file Lafourche Parish school district employees that have been with us for a time. So they know how we do school in Lafourche, and I don't anticipate a whole lot of changes. We are preparing, though, for some changes in our local level as a result of the last legislative session. Okay. Everything from cell phones to grading scales and some other things that we will have to change next year as a result of that.
So that is one thing, I believe the big thing that I've seen is cell phones are no longer allowed in the classrooms. Is that it?
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay. And do you anticipate, I guess, that being a big problem, or?
No, we've had a longstanding practice of not allowing those in our classrooms, and we're going to clarify some expectations for our parents, as we open the school year. But I think that in the classrooms, we're not going to experience problems because we've long since prohibited the use in classrooms.
Certainly seems logical. Definitely. Yeah. All right, we do need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk some more about some LEAP scores that you can just announce the releasing of. But stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
From the moment you walk into the showroom floor at Trapp Cadillac, you understand our commitment to providing a truly exceptional experience for all returning and new customers.
Our goal is to make sure you're always comfortable while understanding the entire process of getting into your new Trapp Cadillac.
When you drive a Trapp Cadillac, you know performance, bold styling, and our shared commitment to service.
One thing you can always count on here at Trapp Cadillac is our excellent service experience.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and joined in this set by Lafourche Parish School Superintendent Jared Martin. Jared, again, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Talking a little bit about the new school year, but let's look back a little bit to last year. It's my understanding you got some LEAP scores in recently. What can you tell us about them now?
Well, we had a tremendously successful year, and the state of Louisiana, the whole nation, since the 2020 school year, has seen a sharp decline in student performance on tests. And obviously, this is directly related to the fact that we had to send kids home.
Sure.
For months, and in some children's families, they opted to keep their kid home the entire year after the COVID outbreak. And so we had a huge gap in the reading ability of kids, the ability of kids to solve and be accurate in their mathematical applications. And so we saw a decline in our scores, as did Louisiana, as did the nation. In 2019, Lafourche Parish was riding very high in the state rankings, and our kids were performing really well on LEAP tests. Every year since then, we've been improving. Also for Lafourche Parish, just like here in Terrebonne Parish, following the COVID years, we got hit with Hurricane Ida.
Sure.
And so you had a lot of students whose not only school got disrupted because of Hurricane Ida, but their living conditions, right? Many of them having to be displaced to go live with family, or maybe a camper in the driveway, or maybe a FEMA trailer even still today. But through that all, we were able to persevere, and our LEAP scores that were released publicly this morning at 10 a.m. put Lafourche Parish in the top 10 in the state in terms of how many students score mastery or above on these very important tests of skills in math, science, English, and social studies. So we're really proud of not only our teachers, who are obviously the backbone behind high school performance scores, but our students and our families for just being so resilient, for being so able to withstand the literal storm, and placing education at the forefront where it needs to be, just to support their kids as they do what they do in our schools, which is just show up every day and succeed.
Yeah, it's amazing to think what those kids, especially the ones that get displaced in their homes, the lives really just turned upheaval, but then you think they still got to, go to school and do all the work at home, not only at school, and just to be able to focus and get the job done is an amazing success story.
It is, and it's again, it's a testament to this community. It's why people choose to live here. We've got great family units that most families that live in this area have a support network even outside of their own immediate family. And without those support networks of grandparents, aunts, and uncles, I don't think it would be possible to do what we do as you navigate the effects of a hurricane. But our LEAP scores are really improving. Of course, we're never satisfied, always looking to get back into the top 5, maybe even the top spot in the state if possible, because our kids are as bright as any kids anywhere in this nation.
Is there any, particular subject or anything that needs to be focused on more, or where the grades could be better in? Or?
Math continues to be a spot for us where we think we can perform better. When you look at state rankings, our English scores are consistently in the top 5 across the state, and our math scores are not. Our math scores are lagging behind those English scores, but we're hoping that as we become more knowledgeable in our math curriculum, which is a curriculum that we adopted only a few years ago, we've been supporters of a Eureka curriculum. That curriculum has then transitioned to what's called Eureka Squared, and our teachers are becoming much better at delivering that. And so we did have a big jump in our math scores that we're very happy about. We hope to continue to see that jump because our math scores are lagging behind our English scores.
Okay, and certainly, yeah, the longer the teachers have that curriculum, the better they get at it. Of course, they kind of have to go through a little learning process on their own, but that'll certainly help things and hopefully continue to see those grades continue to shoot right up.
Absolutely. That's our hope.
In English, that's another, that it's good that sometimes you talk about Bayou communities, maybe, English may be something that you think, this area may not perform well on, but that's certainly, great to hear that that's one of the areas where they continue to excel at. I
completely agree. I can remember growing up, my grandfather spoke frequently about how English was a second language for him. That is, I think, not true of today's generation, but certainly this is not an area where you would think English would be the strength, but it certainly is for our community, and I really attribute it to the prowess of our teachers. They have really adopted super efficient models for teaching English at a young age, and our kids have risen to the challenge.
And it's certainly, the teachers, that is the backbone, that, of course, we always say they don't get paid enough. We wish, we could pay them, the salaries of doctors and lawyers, and, because they're that important to our future. But it's what, it's what you can afford. But again, the work that they put in right now, I'm sure that they're all planning their things out, planning their classrooms out, and doing work in their off hours to make sure that they'll have their students will have the best year possible.
Absolutely. On that front, I don't want to brag about what we're doing for our teachers. We are giving them a stipend as the school year begins. For our returning teachers, they're going to get a $2,500 stipend. And then the state has given another stipend that the teachers will receive right before Thanksgiving of $2,000. So while that's still not enough, we're really hoping to close that gap between what teachers are paid and what they should be paid for all the great work they're doing.
Well, that certainly will help, and I'm sure the teachers out there appreciate that very much, and we thank you for coming on and all that you do for the students out there and the teachers as well.
Absolutely. We'll see them August 7th. Can't wait to open the new school year.
Sounds great. And stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights.